Welcome to Psychology, the Science of Us, a quick exploration of the mind, behavior, and what it means to be human. The opening image of the brain hints at the complex networks we'll unpack together, from basic memory and emotion to the social forces that shape our choices. So let's begin by setting the stage for understanding how psychology connects to everyday life. At its core, psychology is the scientific study of the mind and behavior, diving into thoughts, feelings, and actions to explain why we do what we do. This slide also shows why it matters, from guiding public policy and improving education to offering tools that help people communicate, overcome personal hurdles, and build more empathetic relationships in daily life. Psychology covers many specialized fields, each with its own focus. Clinical psychology treats mental health issues like depression and anxiety, cognitive psychology studies thinking and memory, developmental psychology traces changes from birth to old age, and social psychology examines how our interactions with others shape beliefs and behavior. The icons on this slide remind us how broad and practical the discipline really is. 4 foundational theories shape how psychologists understand the mind. Behavioral theory views behavior as learned through rewards and punishments. Cognitive theory likens the mind to a processor handling information. Psychoanalytic theory emphasizes unconscious drives and childhood influences. And humanistic theory highlights personal growth and potential, with this circular diagram visually linking each perspective as part of a larger conversation. Taking a closer look, behavioral theory focuses on observable actions with examples like Pavlov's dogs. Cognitive theory studies memory and problem solving with everyday parallels like recalling a song lyric. Psychoanalytic theory uses metaphors like the iceberg to describe conscious and unconscious forces. And humanistic theory centers on growth and Maslow's hierarchy as a roadmap for personal development. The brain is our control center, processing sensory input, storing memories, managing emotions, and governing decisions. The diagram here points out key parts like the amygdala, which handles core emotions such as fear and excitement, and highlights neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, tiny chemical messengers whose balance influences mood, motivation, and overall mental health. Motivation can come from within or be driven by outside rewards. Intrinsic motivation is the joy of doing something for its own sake, like losing track of time while painting, which fuels creativity and persistence, while extrinsic motivation uses external incentives like grades or money, which can boost performance but sometimes reduce long-term enjoyment if overused. We are shaped by both our genes and our environment, a theme illustrated by the tree and DNA visual. Family, culture, education, and societal forces nurture our beliefs and behaviors, while genetics provide a blueprint. Modern psychologists view development as an interaction between nature and nurture, producing each person's unique combination of biology and experience. Psychological development unfolds across stages from early childhood through old age, shown here as a timeline. Early years build language, emotion, and social skills. Adolescence brings identity exploration and emotional shifts, and adulthood includes career and relationship priorities, while later life can emphasize reflection, wisdom, and staying socially and mentally active for well-being. Social psychology helps explain how individuals behave in groups, as the network diagram suggests. Social influence shapes decisions through conformity, compliance, and obedience. Group dynamics determine roles, cohesion, and the risk of groupthink, and social identity shows how group memberships form self-concepts that can unite people or create us versus them divisions in everyday life. When the mind faces challenges, disorders can disrupt daily functioning. Anxiety disorders involve persistent fear or worry. Mood disorders include depression and bipolar highs and lows. Personality disorders reflect long-standing behavior patterns that impair relationships, and psychotic disorders like schizophrenia affect perception and reality testing, highlighting the importance of compassion, diagnosis, and treatment. Therapeutic approaches offer paths to well-being, from cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps reframe unhelpful thoughts and behaviors, to psychotherapy or talk therapy that explores patterns with a clinician, and emerging options like virtual reality exposure and mindfulness-based practices that provide accessible, present-focused tools to manage symptoms and build resilience. Psychology in the modern world bridges the digital sphere and the workplace. Constant exposure to idealized social media can affect mental health, while technology-enabled therapies and apps increase access and personalization. At work, industrial organizational psychology improves employee well-being and productivity. and companies are increasingly adopting programs to manage stress and foster a supportive environment. Ethics and cross-cultural perspectives act as a guiding compass for practice. Confidentiality and informed consent protect individuals, while cultural diversity demands sensitivity to different therapeutic norms. Understanding how culture shapes motivation, decision-making, and acceptable interventions is essential for inclusive, effective mental health strategies across diverse communities. Looking ahead, psychology is headed toward deeper interdisciplinary research with neuroscience and genetics, greater use of AI to analyze behavior and expand access to care, and evolving practices like teletherapy and integrated approaches that combine mindfulness with traditional treatments. Ultimately, the most powerful tool remains your own mind, and curiosity will drive the next discoveries.